in Hollywood, Florida. Rick Strom, Adam Glenn with you, and we have two flyweights that are about to get it on here. Should be a good one. Two undefeated fighters, Billy Rodriguez, 2-0 with 2 TKOs, and Cristopher Rios, 10-0 with 7 knockouts. Rodriguez hailing from Havana, Cuba, and Chris Rios, born in Linwood, California, though he resides in Los Angeles, California. And for Rios, the WBC amateur.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, someone's O has got to go in this 10-round flyweight bout, brought to you by Seminole Casino Brighton. Hard Rock live at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel Casino at Hollywood. Your referee in charge of this bout is Luis Pabon. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black with silver. He weighed in at 111 pounds. His record, 10 wins, no losses, with 7 wins by knockout. From Compton, California, please welcome Cristopher El Vago Rios. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gray trunks with the Cuban and American flags. He weighed in at 112 pounds. His record, 2 wins, no losses. Both wins coming by way of knockout. Originally from Havana, Cuba, now out of Miami, Florida, the former Cuban national champion, Billy Rodriguez.
Ok, muchachos, ya yo le di las instrucciones en el camerino. Aquí está bien, de aquí para arriba está bien, de aquí para abajo no. Que tenga suerte y que Dios los bendiga, ¿ok?
Cristopher Rios in the black and silver trim. Billy Rodriguez in the white trunks with, as we heard from Mark Lichtenfeld, the American flag on the left side of his trunks. Rios with 8 more fights, so a bit more seasoned than Rodriguez. What do you expect out of this one, Adam?
So, well, I would say don't let the record fool you. Even though he's only 2-0 versus a 10-0, he has a world of amateur experience. And so, you know, I think they're much more closely matched than those records would indicate when you're first looking. You know, Rodriguez was a Cuban amateur champion, Pan American Games champion, so he paid his dues in the amateurs. He's a little bit older because he did take all that time in the amateurs, where Rios has been sort of paying his dues at the pro level. I'm sort of curious to see the contrast of styles. You know, you have a California Mexican fighter, come forward type guy, versus a little bit of a slicker Cuban fighter. Can make for a really interesting matchup.
Definitely. What I do like from Billy as well thus far, staying on the outside, using his feet, keeping a good distance, a safe distance, and knowing when to strike and also roll away from the punches. Solid jab connects 2 times in a row as the crowd reacts to it. So, what I'd like to, yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Well, what you can see a little bit is he still fights a little bit like a Cuban amateur, right? His hands are low. He's looking to score with kind of flashier shots. And for Rios, part of it is weathering the early storm.
Good
right?
uppercut inside from the kid on Cristopher Rios. Rios continually coming forward, though, continually pushing his opponent back as we hit 1:19 here in round 1.
No, and for Rodriguez, he hasn't gone deep into fights yet. He got very used to the amateur style. If I was Rios, I would be trying to weather the storm, keep pressing.
Good left hand there from Rios as well.
And take him into deep waters, right? You can see Rodriguez the way he fights when he lands a big shot, he puts his hands up, he sort of celebrates it. That's a very amateur style thing to do because you're trying to score your points,
yes.
right? And so you see a lot of the.
Are you saying you don't score points with the crowd and their reactions?
So you do, but it's a different thing because you know you only have 3 rounds to do it in amateurs, so you're trying to really punctuate every shot.
Yes.
So you know I'd be curious if Rios can make it into the later rounds, what that looks like.
Why do you say if?
Well, because look, Rodriguez he's clearly explosive. He's got quickness. He's got good hand speed. He's landing some good shots. He could change the fight early, right?
He could, very much so. We do end round 1 of what is a highly fascinating matchup between these two guys. Billy Rodriguez, 2-0, as my co-host stated, a lengthy amateur background, incredibly slick, really likes celebrating to the crowd by making his opponent miss. For Cristopher Rios, come forward. Just come forward, come forward, come forward. If you got to eat some shots, that's okay. I'm going to land a harder one on you. He did have a good counter left hook, though if we were being objective here, I'd probably score the round for Billy Rodriguez as he goes up 1-0. What do you say, Adam?
Yeah, look, I think that was Rodriguez's round. He landed the more meaningful shots. He landed at a better clip, and he looked a little more comfortable. But you know, this is a long fight. This is a scheduled 10-rounder. So, you know, I'm really curious to see what starts happening after rounds 3 and 4. You know, that's the length that Rodriguez was used to going as an amateur, and he spent a lot more time there.
Well, this is also something that I'm really interested in seeing, is if Rodriguez doesn't use his legs and Rios comes in to try and just bully him a little bit, how is he going to react? Is he going to be able to slip underneath and get out? Or is he just going to stand there, weather the storm, trade, and get out? I'm really interested in seeing Rodriguez fight off the back foot, not circling, but standing in place, being stationary.
Yeah, and that's part of sort of any time you work with a really good amateur, you have to take some of the amateur out of them, right? Like in the amateurs, you're very used to using your feet and circling out and getting away after you score your points. Where in the pros, you know, you learn more to stay in the pocket, you learn to catch more punches, slip more punches, and you know, because that style of using your legs to get away, it's also tiring. And, you know, it's a lot easier to do it for 3 rounds than it is for 10.
And we might be seeing it right here because it feels like Rios may have found something here in the second round, 1:40 left. But Rios is continually coming forward. Adam, I want to say Rodriguez hasn't thrown a power punch within the last 45 seconds of this round.
Yeah, look, I think Rios he's doing a little better now. I think Rodriguez opened the round well, but that's why I'm really curious to see, you know, if things slow down and Rodriguez isn't able to catch him with something big, what does it start to look like at round 4? Because
doesn't it feel like it's slowing down already?
Yeah, it is. I mean, but Rodriguez, maybe he does have a plan B, right? Like, you know, he's keeping his hands up a little bit more now. So I wanna see those adjustments that he's made, so that I can see that he's sort of doesn't have that amateur style anymore, but is a full-fledged pro.
We are at the 42-second mark of round number 2 between Billy Rodriguez and Cristopher Rios in the flyweight division, 112 pounds, 2 undefeated fighters. We scored the first round for the kid, though it feels like the tide is shifting, and this is likely what may happen in this fight. Both guys going back and forth, trading away. They are standing in the middle of the ring, though Rodriguez continues to fight off the back foot, continually trying to get out as well.
So the other part I'm sort of interested in, right? In the amateurs, you don't get a lot of benefit
Straight right for Rodriguez lands there.
Out of body work. And I haven't seen Rodriguez doing a lot of body work. I see Rios trying to do some. So, you know, that could mean something in the later rounds.
Both men did not hear the bell.
Yeah.
That is how loud it has gotten when both of these warriors have traded. And to be honest with you, did you hear it?
So I did
didn't
not
either.
hear the bell, but you know, we're all locked in. We're all locked into the action, and these guys are ready to go. So you know, I like how this fight is starting to shape up. Rios is trying to be the more physical guy, the come forward guy, while Rodriguez is, you know, trying to be the slicker boxer. What I don't know yet either is, you know, what Rios's power is. Is he gonna really be able to hurt Rodriguez? Is he just gonna slow him down a little bit? You know, we have to see. So, but there's a lot of interesting storylines as this fight unfolds.
Absolutely. Likely, I would have it split through the first two. We are now in round 3. Billy Rodriguez, Cristopher Rios. A seesaw battle in the flyweight division here in Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah, and coming out of the first two, I could see it 1-1. I could.
Oh, a
big
huge left
shot.
hand for Billy Rodriguez. Landing on Cristopher Rios. He is crossing himself, finally gets up off a knee. Good, solid thudding left hand from Rodriguez. Curious to see if he pushes the pace here. Overhand right, another overhand right. Good counter left from Rios. Trying to bop and stay ahead of the game here. Rodriguez also being very, very patient as he knows that his competitor is hurt. Picking his shots wisely here. Overhand right lands behind the ear of Rios. Crowd hollering at both of these competitors, hoping to see another flash, if not flattening knockdown from Billy Rodriguez.
So, and the one thing with Rodriguez, he has very good reflexes, very good timing. He's landing, you know, he's going for big shots, but he's landing them in between the shots that Rios is throwing.
Would you like to see, Adam, Rios try to get more on the inside? Because it seems Rodriguez is fairly comfortable fighting at this distance.
Yeah, look, I'd like to see Rios make the fight a little bit ugly, right? He's press forward, push him back a little bit, be a little physical with him, because this distance boxing with Rodriguez is not where he wants to be. He's not gonna out jab him. He doesn't have the same kind of hand speed or foot speed that Rodriguez does. So he needs to cut that distance and take away some of the gifts that Rodriguez has.
And right as we discuss it, as there's 56 seconds left in the third round, he is cutting the distance. He is cutting the ring. He's trying to get inside. Good jab to the body here. Let's see if he tries to open up Rodriguez and land something over the top. There is the straight right that he attempted to land. Just continually pushing, trying to find Rodriguez. Another interesting storyline, how will Rodriguez's legs play out? Because he is really doing so much movement here to get away from Rios, who's trying to charge over and over again.
Yeah, and for Rios, also in shortening that distance, you can see, like, every time he throws a long right hand or anything like that, Rodriguez just isn't there. He doesn't have the speed to cover that distance. He wants to throw shorter shots, be closer, get that body work, and if you want to take a guy's legs, go to the body.
Billy Rodriguez, Cristopher Rios, going into round 4 here in Hollywood, Florida. Really good stuff overall from these two guys. Rodriguez scoring the knockdown with a left hook on Cristopher Rios. In a bout of undefeated boxers. Really good stuff overall. It seems like Rios, though, Adam, rebounded and started pressing the gas even more to get even.
Yeah, look, I think he's the type you could see. He got caught with a shot, but he wasn't badly hurt. He was smart enough to regroup himself, take his lead, take his time, and he's pressing that pace. You know, you feel like he thinks, he really believes in himself that he can get to Rodriguez and he can hurt him. So he's going to keep pressing that pace, and there's no fear, there's no quitting him. He wants to keep fighting. So
right. He does look really recovered as well, considering that he suffered that flash knockdown. Round 4 here, Rodriguez in the red, white, and blue. Rios in the black with silver trim. This is what you were calling for, Adam. You wanted to see it get a little dirty. You wanted to see him muck it up. And Rios is chasing Rodriguez around the ring, just trying to find him, trying to make it a little bit more physical. Good uppercut on the inside there, though, from Billy the Kid.
Well, it's very difficult to outbox. One, it's usually difficult to outbox any really talented Cuban amateur, right? They're used to fighting from the outside. They box that way. And someone with the pedigree that Rodriguez has versus Rios, you know, it's tough to just outbox a guy like that from the outside, especially with the kind of athleticism that Rodriguez has been showing. But you know, where you can get to them is they're not necessarily, especially early in their career like this, used to the roughness of the pro style, and you know, you can do things as a pro that you can't do as an amateur. You have more time to work. You can go to the body. You can sort of let a fight play out over many rounds. So you know, if you're Rios, that's what you got to depend on, because up till now he hasn't shown that he's got the quickness to beat Rodriguez to the punch.
I would agree. It certainly seems like Billy Rodriguez, at 26, 5 years older than Rios, has shown the hand speed. He has also shown really solid boxing ability, getting in, getting out, continually keeping the distance that we have called for Rios to shorten. Good left hook, and follows it up with a right from Rios.
So now, you know, there are little things that I feel like I'm seeing here with Rodriguez that he'll need to tighten up over time, right? Keeping his hands up, being able to catch some of those punches, right? He's getting caught with those left hooks because he's not holding the phone. He's not keeping his hand where it should be. And part of it is probably because he's very used to using his feet to get away from those shots. But as you get to the higher levels,
stunning left hook from Rodriguez. I believe that's his corner, bottom left, who is telling him to push, push, push.
Yeah, that looks like maybe a manager or someone that works with him.
Good counter left from Rios as well.
Right, but that's why Rodriguez leaves himself a little bit open for certain shots, and Rios is hitting him with them. Not sure he has the power to and the explosiveness to knock him out, but if the fight keeps going, those could wear on Rodriguez.
Yes. I mean, personally, body shots. Start attacking the body a little bit more. Once you get inside, put it in a phone booth and just start unloading. Or in another way of putting it, channel your inner Lanier Perro and just go to the body over and over and over again. Really good round overall for Rodriguez. Rios, though, did suffer a knockdown, got right back up, I would say in the span of about a 3 count, and rebounded quite well. Welcome back to the broadcaster's booth here at the Hard Rock Seminole in Hollywood, Florida. We have had some tremendous fights here on BXNG TV. I am Rick Strom, that is Adam Glenn. Another really good one here between Billy Rodriguez and Cristopher Rios, Adam.
Yeah, look, I like what Rodriguez is doing. He's athletic, he's explosive, he can box. But I also like what Rios is doing because he's right there in the fight and he's cutting the distance a little bit. And Rodriguez looks like he's slowing down just a little bit. And, you know, that's the type of thing that could play into what Rios does well.
Billy Rodriguez, Cristopher Rios squaring off in a highly exciting fight here. Rodriguez staying mainly on the outside, showing ring generalship. Rios has landed a few counter lefts. Nothing of substance thus far, at least to slow down Rodriguez to the point that he isn't continually shaking his head and circling out at Rios each time that he does miss an attempt.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think Rios has landed a few body shots here and there, and a few good left hooks and shots with Rodriguez backing out, because when Rodriguez is using his feet to back out, he's still sometimes backing out with his hands down, and he's getting caught with shots on the way out. But for Rios, he wants to cut the distance. He wants to stay close because, you know, Rodriguez can cover that distance much faster than Rios can. He can get in and out.
Certainly. Looked like a good counter right there from Billy the Kid. We are at the 2:11 mark of round 5. Rios in the black and silver trim, trying to find something. Good jab there from Rios. Maybe he could work off of it as Rodriguez gets inside, tangles up and gets out. Rios pushed the pace is what we have been calling for.
Well, one thing that gives me a lot of hope for this fight is that Rios is not fighting like he's tired. He looks energetic. He's not sort of stopping what he's doing. He's not huffing and puffing. So, you know, I think he can make, over these next 5 rounds, he can make a real push. And I hope he does. You know, I wanna see a back and forth fight. So far, even though I think Rodriguez is getting the better of most of the fight, Rios is in it. And you know, I'd like to see even more of that going forward.
Rios made his debut August 9th, 2019, a TKO stoppage of Oscar Ruben Morales. His opponent has since been inactive. A former WBC amateur champion is Cristopher Rios, only 21 years of age, and to say that he is gaining really vital experience here is an understatement. Fighting a man with a decorated background, decorated amateur, tough Cuban fighter in Billy the Kid Rodriguez. You were saying that Billy looks like he's slowing down, and in round 5, we may be reaching a turning point here. Rodriguez doesn't look as fresh on his feet.
So, yeah, and I'm not sure if it's a little bit of a rest round and a round off for him, or if he's actually, you know, a little worse for wear. But that's why I'm getting curious about the fight, because I think Rios doesn't really, even though he's taking the bigger shots and even though he got dropped earlier in the fight, he doesn't really look worse for wear. He looks like he has the energy to keep this pace up. Rodriguez, that round, he didn't look like he had the energy to keep the same pace he had for the first 3 or 4 rounds. So I want to see how he comes out this round and see, you know, does he have his legs back? Is he ready to be back at that sort of fast, explosive pace? Or is he going to keep slowing down, in which case he might give Rios a chance to get into this fight?
For the novice fans out there, Adam, what are the usual signs that a fighter is slowing down?
I mean, look, you see a lot of it is stylistic. So when you have a guy that you watch like Rodriguez, who was bouncing, moving, you know, really using his legs, and all of a sudden he gets a little stuck in place. You know,
eating a lot of shots here is Rodriguez.
The open mouth and the heavy breathing, that's usually a pretty good sign too. You know, hands.
Look at these combinations from Cristopher Rios.
Yeah,
look at these combinations.
And Rios is pushing it forward. You know,
he is.
With Rodriguez's legs slowing down a little bit, Rios is able to get to the spots he wants to be in.
Rodriguez feels like he found something here with a counter right as he pushes Rios up against the ropes. Rios, though, fires a left hook and gets out of it, and continually pushes the pace going forward. Once again, in close quarters against Billy the Kid. And what I like to see from Rodriguez, a bit of contrasting styles from the last round, he's also pushing Cristopher Rios backwards in round 6.
Well, also when you look how some of those shots are coming, in the early rounds, Rodriguez was sort of exploding, popping off his feet.
Flashy.
You know, now some of the stuff he's coming forward, he's falling forward a little bit. And that indicates that, you know, his legs are a little bit tired, right? That bounce isn't quite there the same way. That rhythm isn't there. And he's going to have to gut this one out a little bit. And for Rios, he might not be feeling the same power on all the shots that Rodriguez is throwing as he was in the earlier rounds. So he might feel like he has an opening to really come and fight.
And Rodriguez now coming forward. Combination after combination. One thing that I did just see, Adam, was as the two men share a smile with each other. The sweet science can also be humorous at points. So one thing that I saw about 30 seconds ago was Rios not achieving much when they were going practically nose to nose, and then he decided to go back to fighting at a distance. Maybe not as comfortable as we thought he would be fighting nose to nose against a guy like Billy the Kid.
Yeah, look, I mean, just because it's what you should do doesn't mean it's what you're comfortable doing. And so, you know, in this, he hasn't had a lot of success from the outside, so we say he should be going inside. But, you know, he may just not feel like an inside fighter.
And now he's getting backed up from Rodriguez. We are at the 22nd mark of round 6 here on BXNG TV. Billy the Kid Rodriguez, Cristopher Rios. Good overhand right from Billy the Kid.
Also,
yes, please go ahead.
The other thing I was going to say I see from Rios, a lot of his punches are arm punches. He's not really like with the stuff up top. He's not digging in. He needs to dig in some of those body shots.
Good uppercut, though. It may have landed a smidge after the bell. We are heading now to round 7 in what has been a highly entertaining fight. Guys, if we could keep this wide shot right here. One thing that I love seeing is Chris Rios's trainer, very animated, very, very animated, telling his guy to push forward, throw combinations, work off his jab, and a more composed Billy Rodriguez corner. You see his trainer whispering with the Horace Grant goggles, whispering into Rodriguez's ear, not as animated as Rios. We're going to round 7 here in Hollywood, Florida.
So, well, also for Rios's corner, they're imploring him to push the fight. Right, if he wants to win, now is the time. He's got to push this forward. Nothing he's done so far has shown that he's gonna end it with one big shot. So he's got to press this pace and break his man down.
Do you have him down on the cards right now, Adam?
Yeah, look, I think I have Rios down pretty significantly so far in terms of the cards. But you know, the eye test says he still has a shot. He can still press this pace. He still has 4 rounds to go. But this is the time. You know,
yes.
If you want to have a chance to win, you can't leave it for another round or two because he's in my opinion well behind.
I would agree with that. I would say I'd given him 1 round, maybe the opening round, or one of the opening rounds. We are at 2:10 in round 7. Rios trying to get inside, though he keeps eating these counter shots from Billy Rodriguez. As my co-host said, do not let the small resume fool you. Rodriguez only comes in at 2-0, though he does look very good, very fresh. The pep in his step may have returned, potentially taking a round off, as you indicated previously, Adam, and he is scoring at will against Cristopher Rios.
Yeah, look, I think also because Rios's shots, he lets his hands go, but his shots don't seem to have a lot on them. You know, he's not digging in his feet a lot of times. He's not bending his knees with some of those shots. So, you know, he'll land a punch, but it's not nearly as meaningful as what Rodriguez is landing.
Right.
You know, I'd like to see him at least dig in nice and hard with those body shots, but you know, it's not like Rodriguez is making it easy on him either.
A statement you made previously, in my view, rings true now and has rung true throughout this fight. Timing. The timing of Rodriguez, continually timing Rios coming in, whether he's up against the ropes or he's pushing Rodriguez back. The timing of Rodriguez has not been quelled in the slightest from Rios. He's still trying to find something. He's had a few good shots here and there. Hasn't had that one stunning shot to push Billy Rodriguez back.
So, well, you know,
we have a slip here from Rodriguez in the middle of the ring.
So yeah, a slip. You know, it's not meaningful, but it's you know, still there's a little energy, and for Rios, he just has to be constantly pressing. He has to be glued to Rodriguez for the rest of the fight. But for Rodriguez, if he comes out as the winner, and so far he is winning, you know, this is the kind of fight that's going to make him better. This is, you know, having to dig deep, having to go deep into a fight, not blasting a guy out right away, you know, landing his best shots and having someone stand up to it, that's going to make him better. Like
Right.
that's going to get him closer to that world-class level as a pro.
We have concluded round 7, heading to round 8 with Rodriguez up, though it does feel like we could see some fireworks from Rios if he goes all out and leaves it all out there. Truly feel like we have not seen the best yet, though Rodriguez's boxing ability really up there. You see the skill level difference, the heart is certainly there, but for Rios, it seems all he needs is one big shot to change the trajectory of the fight. The knockdown that he suffered in round 3, clearly recovered from it. We are tending to, I believe, some fluids on Rios's boots in the corner, the blue corner that is. All it takes is one shot in this game. Rios still looks fresh, keeping his legs fresh as well as he continually bops up and down.
Yeah, look, I think Rios has a good gas tank. Like he's ready to keep going. I don't know if he has the power to land something truly meaningful, but he's ready to keep going. You know, I think Rodriguez also, he's landed some of his good shots and Rios is still there, and that could be disheartening.
Definitely. The referee, we believe, called over the doctor, and the kid sort of just looks up, palms up, going, yeah, I don't remember, I don't really know. The referee also cleaning up some fluids there in the middle of the ring, because we saw in the previous round, Billy Rodriguez did slip, fell on his butt once, but then slipped twice, and now, as you just saw, he slipped once more in the middle of the ring. So the referee also on mop duty here in this room.
Yep. Also, if I was Rios, that long break between the round, that's not good for you. It's better for Rodriguez, right? He's seemed a little more tired and like he's slowing a bit. You want to get him. You want to get right back on him. You want to keep him tired, because the more time he has, the more he can bounce, the more he can explode, the harder this fight's going to be for you.
How do you eliminate a guy who is as slick as Billy Rodriguez, defensively countering, throwing quick lefts, flash rights? How do you negate those, Adam?
I mean, you know, a lot of it is footwork. It's learning how to cut off the ring. So you'll see a lot of times the way that Rodriguez is slipping out when Rios tries to land his big right hand. He's slipping out because Rios is sort of opening the door for him, and he's letting him slip right out to his left. You know, it's small steps, putting the guy into position, picking the right punches to keep him in the place that you want, and then a lot of it is timing. The way to sort of negate speed is timing. Yes. You know, you time the guy, you land the right punch when he's in the place you want him to be. The problem is Rodriguez actually has better timing than Rios.
Yes, absolutely. Not only the better timing, the counter punching to add on to your point about the timing. Those are the ones that hurt the most and drain the most. Rios, I'm not sure if our viewers noticed, continually pumps his chest, goes up against the ropes, and wants Rodriguez to follow him, which is a change in strategy for Chris Rios, really throwing anything and everything out there to try and change the trajectory of this fight, because Rodriguez is just scoring on Rios.
Yeah, and now, you know, Rodriguez, and I think that little extra time between rounds helped him a little bit. He's been more energetic. He's letting his hands go. He's digging in with some shots.
Good jab there from Rodriguez. Snaps Rios' head back, and then he throws up his right hand to celebrate to the crowd momentarily.
I will say I feel like Rodriguez, there's a little less on his punches, a little less pop on him.
Right, but if you're scoring like this.
I think he's winning. But yes, you know, when he was landing those shots in the first 2-3 rounds, we were wondering if he was going to knock Rios out.
Right.
Now it's more he's just scoring with the bigger punches.
Round 8 comes to a close in a near shutout for Billy Rodriguez. Chris Rios, 21 years old, residing in Los Angeles, California, really trying to see if we could find something, or if he could find something, his corner could find something, as we are nearing the end, and potentially, Adam, Cristopher Rios' first defeat.
Yeah, look, I think even for Cristopher Rios, and that's why I like to see prospects match up. He's 21 years old. He's 10-0. He hasn't been tested yet. This is his first test against sort of a guy who was a world-class amateur, might end up being a world-class pro. Even if he comes out with a loss, he hasn't lost that much. He has a lot of time to develop, and he'll see a lot of things to work on. So I think this is a good fight for both guys. You know, for Rodriguez, this is the type of fight he needed to get better, because he's trying to fast-track himself to the world-class level. And for Rios, if he can come out with a win, then, you know, it'll be a great and impressive win for him. But even if he comes out with a loss, he'll learn a lot out of this fight.
Absolutely. But the only way it is safe to say that he would get a win at this point, at this stage in the game, as we are hitting round 9, is a knockout. He likely needs a knockout to win, considering how far down he is on the cards.
Yeah, and you know, that's why we fight the fights, because in boxing, that could happen.
Yes.
Right?
You don't play boxing, Ed.
Rodriguez looks in control, and he's, you know, he's imposing his will and sort of having his way, but things change quickly. So I think for Rios, this is going to be a great learning experience. He'll come out of this fight. He'll see a lot of mistakes that he made. He'll realize where he has to tighten his game up, and he's young enough that he has a lot of time to do it.
Absolutely.
And for Rodriguez, you know, I'm not going to call this a war, but it's the toughest fight he's been in as a pro, and it's a tougher fight, I think, than he expected.
I think Rios thought that Rodriguez may have been stunned because he was taking his time getting back to meeting up with his opponent. Maybe he was just trying to get snot out, but it looked like he was just taking his time. Rodriguez, though, continually throwing. Good left hook over the top. Rios continually pressing forward, continually going forward, trying to find something here. Halfway through round 9, Rodriguez ties up Rios. Really, at this point, if you're Rodriguez, do you continue to trade with this guy, or do you know that you have the fight in the bag and you stay on the outside?
I mean, I think if you're Rodriguez, you don't want to give Rios just the opportunity to walk in. So you gotta box him. And I think for Rodriguez, he really would like to close the show. You see how he's fighting. I think he would like to close the show, but I think the truth is, be smart, but you can't stop being aggressive. You still have to let your hands go. You still have to do something to keep this kid's respect, because otherwise he's gonna try to walk you down, and he might land something.
Right, and he is walking Rodriguez down. He landed a good left hook. He lands a good right hand. Here comes Rios. Another left hand. Rodriguez appears hurt here, Adam.
So,
and look at where his hands are. His hand positioning is down, and down he goes in round 9.
So
27 seconds left in the round. And they did not call it a knockdown.
It's a push, but he looks tired. He looks slowed down, and
he does.
And Rios, he's the aggressor right now. He's getting the better of it. You know.
And Rios' corner just high-fived him, knowing that they may have shifted the tide here as we are going to round 10. If you are just joining us, Cristopher Rios was knocked down in the opening rounds, rebounded very, very well, has tried to find anything through his combinations. Rodriguez's defense slipping, staying away, sometimes fighting on the inside to the best of his abilities, outmatching Rios. But yet here we are, round 9, going into round 10. Rios likely going to sell out here, knowing that he just had his opponent hurt for the very first time in this fight. This is it for Cristopher Rios, an undefeated fighter.
So, and yeah, for Rios right now is the time. He's got to press the action. He still looks like he has energy. He still looks fresh. He has to press every second of this round and try to take his man out. He's down on the cards, but he found something in that 9th round.
Which was pushing his opponent back and firing at will.
And also, you know, I think Rodriguez, he got a little tired. He got a little tired in that round. And for Rios, he has to keep pressing that, you know.
But look at the heart of Rodriguez. Even though he does appear a tad exhausted, he's still throwing. He's still connecting.
Look, he's fighting, and he's got to fight to keep this guy off.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's one of those things where if he doesn't fight, Rios is going to keep fighting. So he can't run away. It's a small ring. He's got to fight. But for Rios, he has to stay attached to him every second.
A bit of showboating there from Rodriguez as he was winding up and then landing a left jab. What I do notice, when it seems like we're getting to a bit of a boiling point with the distance, Rodriguez throws, trying to keep Rios at bay, and he just landed another right hand that kept Rios at bay. Well, and another right hand.
Well, he's trying to break Rios's rhythm, keep him from really settling in, land a shot here or there that, you know, buys him a little time. But
if you're Rios, you gotta go.
Yeah,
you gotta go.
You gotta go, and you gotta let your hands go. You gotta dig in deep with shots.
Good combination from Rodriguez. You got an overhand right for Rios.
You gotta be willing to risk getting hurt to hurt the other guy.
Yes. Minute 20 here in round 10. Round 9, did we see the shift in this fight?
So I think we saw a shift. This is, you know, the last 2 rounds have been probably Rios's best 2 rounds of the fight.
Yes, I concur.
You know, if there was more time, who knows what would happen. But Rodriguez also, we're seeing Rodriguez dig deep and do what it takes to keep himself in the fight, keep himself winning the fight.
Yes. The referee just warned him for holding down Rios' head when he was coming forward. 40 seconds left in round 10. Rios trying to narrow the distance. Rodriguez continually firing off the back foot. Heart of a lion is Rodriguez, clearly fatigued, clearly going to sleep incredibly well tonight, but he continually throws over and over again. A solid performance from Billy the Kid Rodriguez. You can tell he's exhausted. Good left hand for Rios. 7 seconds here in round 10. Another huge left for Rios. And that ends the fight.
So, and for Rodriguez, you know, I think he won the fight. I believe wholeheartedly he won the fight.
I agree.
But I think he's going to come out of this fight knowing that he has a lot of things to work on as well. You know, there are a lot of little things that he can work on, that he can fix, that he can tighten up, because he could have made this fight a lot easier on himself than he did.
And what areas would you say, for such a slick counter-punching boxer, a really well-timed puncher, can he improve? I think
one, he's very slick with his feet. He's very good at moving and sort of doing that, but he has to work a little bit on his inside game, on his defense in close quarters, on being able to catch punches. You know, I think he would waste less energy if he did that. I think, you know, sort of getting better with the body work, or at least focusing in on it, because we really didn't see a lot of body work out of him this fight. And when you have a guy like Rios who's pressing, one of the ways to keep him off you and to sort of give yourself a better shot later in the fight is to do some body work early in the fight.
It's a fairly good point. We really didn't see a lot of body work from Billy the Kid. We saw ring generalship. We saw really tremendous boxing ability. Though, and I did allude to this in the opening rounds, how will his legs shape up if he continually fights off the back foot and tries to stay away from Cristopher Rios? One Manzo has got to go. We have the decision. Let's send it. to Mark Lichtenfeld.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 action-packed rounds, we go to the scorecards. Lorenzo Toledo scores the bout 95-94 Rios. Brian Gary sees it 96-93 Rodriguez. And Daniel Fitzgerald scores the bout 96-93 for your winner by split decision, Billy Rodriguez.
Those were some interesting scorecards that we had. 95-94 in favor of Rios, much tighter than we had predicted. 96-93, 96-93 in favor of Billy the Kid Rodriguez. He improves to 3-0. Cristopher Rios drops to 10-1 in what was easily, so far, the fight of the night. Action-packed, undefeated fighters. Welcome back into the broadcaster's booth. I am Rick Strom. That is Adam Glenn. A tremendous fight. And Billy the Kid Rodriguez does eke it out, though he was tested.
Yeah, look, it was contrasting styles. You have one athletic, explosive, quick boxer from the outside, another guy, a come forward, aggressive fighter. It made for a good fight. We felt the tide turning at the end. It just wasn't early enough for Rios to make the difference. I obviously agree much more with the 96-93 in favor of Rodriguez.
As do I.
I think Rios won the last 2 rounds. You know, whether you think he had 1 or 2 rounds earlier in the fight, but even in the rounds he was losing, he was making those closer rounds than what you would see on the scorecard, right? So it felt like a very close fight,
right?
All told. I thought it was good back and forth action, and I would love to see, you know, each of them go their separate ways. Rios develop more. He's still very young. You can see things work his way back, and maybe they meet each other one day, you know, for something more meaningful, right?
Potentially.
This was a 10-rounder. You know, maybe one day they're meeting each other in a 12-rounder in some type of eliminator or for some type of belt. So I think there's a great future for both of them. You know, obviously for Rodriguez, he's going to be moving forward to bigger things. For Rios, he's going to have to figure some stuff out at this level and then figure out how to get to the next level.
Well, you told me what you thought Billy the Kid Rodriguez, who improves to 3-0, had to improve on. For Cristopher Rios, left his heart out there, really came on in the later stages. I did give him one of those opening rounds, so I thought that he won 3 out of 10. However, what do you think he could improve on to put himself in a better position?
I think he needs to learn how to stiffen up his jab, a little more head movement, and you know, and then I think he needs to learn to bend his knees a little bit more, get a little more leverage on some of his shots, because a lot of stuff is arm punches going forward, and I'd like to see him dig in. If he was able to dig in with some of those shots and hurt Rodriguez earlier, he might have been walking away with the win.
We did see Billy the Kid Rodriguez tire a little bit, taking some rounds off here and there towards the middle of the fight, but overall a really solid performance for a decorated amateur. We have seen other decorated amateurs succeed tonight on BXNG TV. Lanier Pero, a heavyweight from Cuba as well, really did his thing, getting his